listening to Sisters with the Y, Episode 9.
They say that if you're not changing, you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're dying. What has been the biggest change in your life?
Well, I think everyone who is a parent, I'm thinking being a parent is one of the major changes.
For sure. I think parenthood, parenthood changes you.
It should.
Motherhood changes you. I don't know. I guess we should talk motherhood because we really can't talk fatherhood because we don't know how they feel. But yes, I think that's the main thing is that we feel it should change you.
As age should change you also. Do we not expect someone to be older to be wiser?
They always say that's what they say, and I do think I'm wiser now that I'm older, and I don't know that it's necessarily because you just get smarter. I think it's because you know more, you've lived more, you've done more, and I remember being young and you get annoyed by the people that are like, you're young, you don't know. And you think like, but I do know. And reality is like, no, you don't.
You don't, no.
You know, you definitely know more as you change, as you grow. Because you've now lived moments or have gone through things that these younger people haven't gone through yet.
And if you know better, you do better. Which should be that's how it should be.
That's what we should live by.
But not always.
And you do have, I think, and by now, if you guys have listened to our past episodes, you know that I had my son at a very young age. Mm-hmm. And I was, and even though we're not that old, but I could say that back in those days, I was asked to leave my high school, which was one of the most upsetting things to me. One of the other things you guys should probably know is that I wasn't your typical teenage mother. I think most people did not expect that to happen to me. Yeah. I was a good student. I got good grades.
You wanted to keep going to school.
Yes,
a lot of them.
I had hopes and dreams. Yes. So one of the most upsetting things to me was that they did ask me to leave and asked me to join this pregnant minor program, which I'm glad. Shout out to the pregnant minor programs. I
don't think it exists, right?
Oh, does it? I don't know. I don't know. Does it
go
still exist? Probably now they do. It's probably okay. But and these programs work. They did what they needed to do. I just felt like I felt so embarrassed and ashamed, and now I'm like having to do this and be around all these pregnant girls, you know? But I think that was one of the most shocking things to me was that, and maybe it's because it got a lot of help. I'm not really sure why, but that a lot of these girls weren't changing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, because at that time it became, I guess, more normal for all these teenagers to become pregnant, but it was also so normal to not see them gain any knowledge from
anything out of it. And it was the early to mid 90s. There was a baby boom. There was a lot of young girls
they kept having
babies, and they did. And I think that's the difference, that as soon as I had my son, because when I was pregnant, also a little insight, I did hide it for a long time. And so I was only pregnant for maybe 3 months out in the open. But so I don't know that pregnancy changed me too much. I was still dealing with a lot of anger. But once I had my son, it did change my life. Yeah. And not in that sweet, he changed my life forever and now I loved him. No, it made me a completely different person.
More responsible.
Yes, I feel it kind of had to. And in my case, it was it carried over to what I wore. I changed the way I dressed. I changed everything about me. I did want to look older because I didn't want to look like, I didn't want people to not take me serious, you know, with a baby. And, but I remember, because also as a teenager, which was probably one of the reasons why I ended up pregnant, I was allowed to wear things that I would never allow my teenage daughter to wear. So things that were a little too short, a little too tight. And once I had my son, all of that went away. I didn't dress that way anymore because I felt I needed to be taken seriously as a mother.
But do you think it was because of our mother, even the mother, because I had a child at 31, and I always thought I need to have my child at that age because my mother had me at that age, and my mom was a mom. She wasn't the young girl trying to party with her daughter like my aunts and cousins. Yeah. So to me, in my head, it was always like, I need to wait for that age. So I will not be that other mother that is trying to party with their kids.
That is trying too hard. And but see, again, also at 16, everybody that knows me as a mother, I've never tried in any way to be my son's friend.
Yeah, that's
I have always strictly been his mother.
And I wonder, because my mom wasn't our friend.
And maybe so, because I think motherhood changed my mom. I mean, I think my mom was definitely a mom.
Yeah.
She was definitely your textbook mom minus the love stuff.
Yes. She was at home cooking dinner.
Yes.
Lunch.
We always had a home cooked meal. Her kids were always clean and we were always
it took up
dressed
her
nice.
Whole day.
Yes. That was her job, was being a mom. But I do think that it changed her in a different way. I think it made her a very bitter person. And that could have been because of the love that was attached to our fathers.
And I think she always saw it as, I didn't get to do this because I became pregnant. Also, my mom being of an older generation and of a generation where you don't talk about stuff. Birth control and all these things were not available to her knowledge. She didn't know these things maybe existed, and she didn't know how to look for the answers for certain things.
And she didn't want to ask. Yeah. She could have asked.
So she just became a mother because if you get pregnant, that's what you do.
That's what you do.
But I think she saw it as, that stopped my life. I never knew what I could have done if I wouldn't have had kids. And I think that's why we were always kind of shown, like, be free, do this, do that, because those are the things that she wanted to do.
Yeah, maybe. And but now you think of other parents who did become mothers or fathers, and it didn't change them.
Yeah, which I think is impossible. I don't even see how it cannot forcefully change you.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that has anything. But then I also see 50-year-olds, probably people who are like doing the same mistakes they did
when they were 15. Teenagers.
Yes.
Oh, maybe.
And you think, how could life not change you? How?
Yes.
I don't feel
experiences.
Like, yes. How can you go through something hard and not learn from it? I always say, when you start seeing life as an experience, I'm learning from my mistakes, which now you understand when people tell you, you'll learn from your mistakes. If you don't want to listen, go ahead, and then you'll learn. And then you think, that's what mistakes are for. You should learn and then change from that experience.
Because even if you haven't had kids, I am going to guess or hope that you're not the same person you were when you were 15
and you should
or 20.
Not be.
Yeah, by the time you're 30, you should be a different person, right?
Yes.
Like whether you have kids or not. I think the only difference is that when you do have kids, we have something to pinpoint it. It's like, this is what changed my life.
Yes.
Versus, when you don't, it might just be life changed my life.
And the thing is also, there's someone I'm thinking about, without mentioning names, that are probably, over 30, and you think, okay, well, the comfort zone is so comfortable. It's called the comfort zone. And you cannot change if you don't get out of your comfort zone. There will never be change or transformation. And you think, okay, these people have not had children, so there's not motherhood. Oh, they have had a child. But maybe one child will not make a difference. And then you think, okay, well, change requires transformation. But if these people still live with mom and dad, they have an education, they have a career, but they're still the same people that they were. Is it because they haven't gone out of their comfort zone to even experience life or mistakes?
Maybe
to transform.
Or is it that do they just feel that they don't have to change? Do they feel that it's a good thing to say, I'm the same person I was 10 years ago?
But I don't know. People, let us know, because I wouldn't imagine thinking I want to be the same person I was 10 years ago.
Yeah, because now that you mentioned that, there's a few people there that are all. So maybe is it something that where they just feel it's normal. It's normal for us to be living the exact same life than we were 10 years ago.
Because I was gonna say, or is it that generation? Because let's think from 25 to 35.
I think there's people there in multiple generations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because is it just generations that they don't believe in?
Or is it upbringing?
Change.
Is it upbringing? Is it because I feel you should be changing in everything you do, not just life in general. You should be changing at work. You should be changing as a parent. You should be changing as a human.
Well, even a job. Are there people who think I go into this job an entry level and that's it? That's life.
Okay. Maybe.
Do they not think I one day want to be the manager? I one day want to be the supervisor? I come into this job to learn it, to own my own business.
Is there someone out there working fast food in the same position that they were when they started and are now celebrating their 10-year anniversary with that fast food place? And if there is, please tell us.
And if we want to interview you.
Yes. And if there is it okay? Is there something wrong with us because we think it's not okay?
That's true. And not getting too religious or quoting all these things.
Spiritual.
But there was one saying, and I read it one time, where it says that God shows us how beautiful change is by giving us a caterpillar and seeing us letting the caterpillar transform into a butterfly, and seeing how much more beautiful that caterpillar got when that caterpillar only thought they could be a worm.
But what if this caterpillar was happy being a caterpillar?
They were, and they thought they were gonna die and didn't realize how beautiful they were gonna become. So that's what they always say is change. During the process of change, it's a mess. But I think at my age, and I don't know if it's only because of my age, I can say that at the end of any change, you're much better.
Oh, yeah.
You're 100% better than you were before.
Even if you're changing for... I hate to say the wrong reasons because then I'm gonna get all of you guys hating me because I'm saying that having my son was the wrong reason, quote unquote. But I changed because I had to.
Yes.
Did I want to? No, I was a kid.
I
didn't want to, but I had to change, and there was no doubt in my mind that I had to change. Yeah. But does that make me any better or any happier than those girls that were in the Pregnant Minor program that did not change?
Good question.
What if they are living their best life right now and are perfectly okay and raised functional children?
But do you not see it? Because I feel like I planned my pregnancy. I planned getting pregnant from my son and saying, okay, I'm gonna become a different person because I'm gonna be a mother. So you already plan it in your head how things are gonna change. But then your child is here and then he's 1 and you changed because suddenly you realize that I'm okay with giving him certain things or letting him watch TV or let your rules start changing of what you had thought you would do. And then my kid is now 11 and a lot of my beliefs have changed, even for myself, because then you start thinking, I'm creating someone that is not going to do as I say, it's going to do as I do. Mm-hmm. So in order for him to do better, and even my daughter to do better, they need to see better. And there has been times where I have literally apologized to my child and said, I made a mistake. I did this wrong. So let's try,
a different way.
Try it another way. So you have to change and you want to change because you see someone benefiting from it.
But what if we
didn't see it?
No, what if we didn't see it? What if we thought what we were doing was okay?
So do people not?
And we were talking about this earlier, how, what is the problem? Is the problem the person that's not changing, or is the problem us for not being okay with them being okay?
Yes.
Because what if this 10-year veteran of this fast food place
Loves it.
And doesn't have any other goals career wise.
Okay.
Knows that they didn't want to go to school or didn't want to do something else. What if they're okay? What if they're happy? What if they love their job? Will we ever see it as okay?
But then are we not, like, let's say we know that person. Are we not saying it in a good way and an exciting way? Like, come on, like, okay, like, don't go to school and don't become nothing else. But is it not like you have so much more potential?
But what if they're like, I don't want it. I don't want that responsibility.
So then are we not
My
saying
life-
like you're just being lazy?
My life is my life is pretty good, you know?
Then that's just being comfortable, like the same people that are still living with their parents and they're adults.
And so they say, well, my life is good right now. I don't need to
comfortable.
change. I don't need
ask
to
for
change.
permission.
So
And-
and there's probably a difference. There is those young adults or not so young adults that are living with their parents, but in their head know, I need to do this. I'm doing this because one day I want to own a home, or I'm doing this because
They have
I'm
plans.
saving up. They have plans.
Mhm.
But then you also have those adults that are living with their parents and are perfectly fine with it. Do not want to change it.
No,
So are they not okay?
they shouldn't be.
But then we have to go back to what I said in the beginning. Then they're not changing. They're not growing. So,
But I think it's like
so
when you
is it okay not to grow? You know, is it okay
No.
to stay still, to be in a certain spot and not change? I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I don't
personally
think
don't
so.
think it's okay either. But
I think it's when you experience something, like, even if you're spiritual and you experience something so wonderful and then you see someone not experiencing it, you kind of think, why don't you want to? Why are you scared of this? So if we already experienced change, and I can say as a 42-year-old woman that I am 100% better with myself today than
Oh, yeah.
a year ago even.
mhm.
I appreciate the growing. I appreciate the opportunities, the being thrown in the ocean and learning how to swim.
Mhm.
But then I cannot understand why someone would not want to experience that.
Because what if
But they're comfortable.
well, maybe they don't even think about it. I think part of it is that they don't even think about it. To them, this is just completely normal. But what if they do think about it? And what if they say, I don't want to be thrown in the ocean. I don't want to learn how to swim. Look, I'm perfectly fine here on my little,
my little
on my little unicorn floaty.
And then-
I don't need to be thrown. I don't need to be thrown off of it. And I'm gonna be comfortable
Not going nowhere.
I'm gonna be comfortable not going any further than I am now, because we can't say not going nowhere, because maybe they feel they've gone somewhere.
That's true.
But they're okay not going any further
Then that.
than they are now. And at the end, you know, this is we're talking people with careers. These people can have careers.
Yeah,
They
money,
they might have careers, they might have money, but you know, let's go back to that person working 10 years plus at the fast food place. I remember listening to this radio host once, and they were talking about how we need these people. We need to
Yes.
realize that at the end of the day, we need fast food workers. We need
Yes.
people with blue collar jobs. We need to have non-educated people.
And which is okay. To me, not everyone is for school.
Yeah, and so I
That's
decided at that point, I remember when I heard her, I decided, yes, we do need these people.
Yes.
They just need to not be my children.
Yes.
And that's where I've left it. I'm okay if somebody else's kids don't want to go to school and want to
Yeah.
work McDonald's for 10 days, for 10 years. And I don't know if I can say the restaurant's name, but you know, if they want to work that for 10 years, they can. It just needs to not be my kids.
And which is, and me, I do tell my kids they need to go to a university, but I'm a great believer that if they want to be, you know, actors, actresses, that's fine.
But that's different. They're still growing.
Yeah.
They're still changing.
And I feel they should. I always tell my son, you should want to work at a McDonald's while you're going to school. Or my daughter, you know, you could work at a fast food or a retail place, but I would be disappointed
Don't
if they
get
got
stuck
stuck
there.
there.
But then maybe we see it as stuck, and they don't.
Oh my
Because
God. Yeah.
so when I used to work retail,
Mhm.
when I worked retail, I climbed the ladder fairly quickly
Yeah.
for my age at the time, and I was quickly offered a store, and but I said no, and I always said no, and I always said no, and
Yeah.
and the reason I said no And one, I remember a regional manager asking me once, why do you say no? And I said, because if I say yes, this is where I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be stuck.
But you had to be aware of that.
Yes, and I was very aware of it. And on top of that, another thing, another rule I had, I was also very full of rules. That's just kind of my lifestyle. But another rule I had is that I would never stay anywhere that I didn't want to stay forever for more than 4 years. Okay. So right before my 4th anniversary, I quit. And I did the same thing with the job after that, right? Right before my 4th anniversary, I quit. And I had to, because if not, I wasn't changing, I wasn't growing, and if I'm not growing, I'm dying. But what if people don't see it that way?
And I think I can say I worked retail and I stayed in the same position. There was nowhere, where I used to work for 5 years, there was nowhere to grow. The owners were the owners, that's it. And being in another place for 15 years, there was nowhere to grow. That was it. But it is true. Because of that experience, I would always tell everybody, if you're going to start in a company, you don't want to go to school, do not start in a company where you can't grow. The first thing you have to see is, can I grow with this company? Second thing is, you need to want to grow. I would be disappointed if my children did not want to grow with this.
And I think my husband's a great example.
Yes.
My husband has been at his job for, I think, that might be a little wrong, but I think this is either his 23rd or his 24th anniversary with them. So he's been there for a long, long time. That's really has been his only real job. But he has grown with the company. He has climbed the ladder. And I don't know, but he's also a person where I think he would definitely, out of all of our episodes, would agree with this one, where he does definitely feel that you need to change in order to grow.
And I don't know if someone has to tell you, because I've also spoken to people and where they say, well, I can't. They don't believe in themselves. Why are you not the manager? Why are you not the supervisor? Well, I can't be it. So do you need someone to be telling you, of course you can be?
Maybe.
And maybe. That's one thing with motherhood. As a mother, as a father, you need to be telling, even if you don't believe it, but how can I get you to believe it if you don't believe it? You need to be telling your children, you can do it. You can quit a job, because it could be better. You just have to believe that you want change and that you do it scared. Change requires being scared.
Yes, and change is not always easy.
No,
change is definitely not always easy, but it's needed. Or at least we feel it's needed.
In order to transform you, I think you need to fall.
And I think that's what boggles my mind with mothers. Because again, I can't speak for a father because I've never been one. But how does motherhood not change you? I mean, we're talking about this thing that happens, and right now I'm gonna go into conventional motherhood. Somebody who gets pregnant, who has this human being inside their body, which completely changes your body.
Yes.
It changes your body.
You will never be the same.
You will never be the same when it comes to that. Sorry to ruin it for most of you people
unless you
out
get
there
plastic surgery
that have not had children, but it will change your body in ways that you would have never imagined. Nothing will ever look the same.
Ever.
And that has now happened to your body in a very literal way. How is it, if it's changing your body this much, how is it not changing your mentality? How is it not changing the way you think, the way you do things, the way you want to do things?
Even the things you start, I would say, as a mother, and I'm not going to consider myself conventional, but being any type of mother, how can you not read new articles about what's affecting the world, what's affecting the schools, what's all these things? I don't understand when someone says, are you telling your kids about school? Well, I don't know. I remember telling a friend, oh, you know what? I got my kids into charter school because it's better. I can't afford private school, so I'm going to get him into charter school. And I told her, go look for it, sign him up. And then she said, no, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to volunteer. And that whole them coming out at 4:30, that doesn't work for me. How do you not see the benefits?
How are you not changing? How are you not changing you
for them,
around them? Yes. Versus the other way around.
Exactly.
And there's some things we change. I mean, I have to admit, I was a stay-at-home mom with my daughter for a few years, and I have to admit, I changed her napping patterns because it didn't work with my schedule. So I did change that. So things like that, I mean, it happens. Yeah. But even from one kid to another, how do you not change?
And being a mother, and I've always said it, and it's sometimes hard to hear, being a mother, being a father is one of the most selfish acts a human being can do. Because in reality, we have children for ourselves.
Yes.
How that's going to make us feel, how that's going to fulfill something in our lives.
Well, when you have them purposely, like you.
Even accidentally, you always have a choice to the last minute. We're pro-choice.
But you know what I'm thinking of when you say that is people always say, why don't you, okay, now you need to have another baby for this baby, right?
Yeah.
So you have a baby, now you need to have another one because poor, she's gonna be alone, or you have these moms that have another baby and are like, oh, I'm doing it for her. I'm doing it for my kid. I'm doing it for my kid because he needs a sister. My big behind. You are not doing. Have you asked him? Have you asked that 3-year-old if they want to share their toys with somebody else? I can guarantee you that 3-year-old is going to say no.
No. Yeah.
You know, so you are not having that baby for your first baby. You're having that baby for yourself because you want someone to keep that other kid busy.
Exactly.
You know, it's whether we like to admit it or not, you're right. At the end of the day, that's selfish.
Yes. But it's
motherhood, parenthood, it isn't in a very selfish way.
But more selfish if you don't then take the opportunity to raise a human being.
Yeah. And I think parenthood would change drastically if people started taking it seriously.
Oh, yeah.
If people started realizing that they're raising human beings.
And forget the cuteness. Yes, you put a bow, you put this. I want to dress him up. It's not a doll. You can get a doll and dress him up. You are creating human beings.
Yes. And that's why you have to remember that they will learn from what you're doing, from what they're seeing.
So when we complain, wow, why is the world so horrible? Then why are we not changing the human beings that we're putting out there?
And are these horrible people that are doing horrible things, if we really looked at it, are they coming from completely quote unquote normal families? I don't think so.
Is that maybe what that makes us see things that way? Because I've also talked to people where they say my kids are gonna turn out to be whoever they turn out. They were born that way. I'm a great believer. I've always said, and I've heard you say it. If my kid is a good kid or if he's a bad kid, you're always gonna throw it back to me.
Oh, always.
It has to be thrown back.
One of the reasons why I parent the way I parent is because I don't want people to blame me for stuff. You know, it is in a very selfish way. I tell my son this all the time. I'm like, do you realize that if you don't clean up your apartment or you don't do this a certain way, you know what they're gonna say? You know what your girlfriend is gonna be thinking? The first thing she's gonna think is like, oh, this is his mom's fault.
You see, and my mom, I think, always said that you have to learn how to be a guest in somebody's house because it falls back on how I'm raising you.
And that's why we were the way we were when we were kids. Yes, because it was going to make her look bad.
Exactly.
And I definitely have taken that from her. My kids were definitely, I don't believe in kids running amok or being dirty and, kids should never be heard, so, and part of it was because I know what those people at a store or at an office or anything, I know what they're going to say as soon as we leave. They're going to be like, oh, that mom who just couldn't handle her kids, So I don't want to be seen that way. So then I'm going to make sure that my kids grow up a certain way. And it's just, because you are going to be blamed. I hate when you're watching the news and again, no one get upset, but you see that someone got shot and you see their picture and you're like, oh my gosh, it's super obvious that they were living a bad lifestyle. Yeah. It's super obvious. And the mom is there crying, but why? I don't understand why.
At that point, both moms should be crying. The person that got shot and the person who's shooting the other person.
But then I want to shake that mom. Really?
Yeah.
Like you don't know why?
Yeah.
You don't see why? Why is it that at one point in this person's life, when they were still under your responsibility, you couldn't change. You couldn't change it. You couldn't change the lifestyle.
And change means moving from somewhere where you're comfortable. It means walking further to school, driving further to school.
It means stopping the cycle, which is going to be one of the hardest things for people to do. It's going to mean stopping that cycle.
But it starts by believing that you are responsible for this person. If you don't believe it, then how can you change it?
Yes,
you can.
Yes.
And
or if you feel that you're doing everything right, then how can you change it? Because what if there's mothers, and there's a definitely a couple that I have in mind that what they aren't parenting the way they should, but I don't know that person gets it.
Do you think their parents were like that?
Not from the looks of it.
Or there's a lot of parents who we can say we grew up without a motherly mother. We didn't get hugged. We didn't get kissed. We didn't say I love you. We didn't do all that.
And literally, you guys have to understand, literally never. My mom hugged me one time.
I don't even remember.
Because I hit my head and she was really worried. And I got a hug. Sorry. I must have been like 13. 14.
And my mom has been in the hospital like 2 times. And never said, in case that something happens, I love you. No, take care, nothing.
Not at all. My mom, till this day, she's the type of kisser that puts her cheek. Yes. And so we kiss her. I literally... And
I haven't kissed my mom since I was 13.
Oh, no, I still kiss my mom occasionally, you bad daughter. But she has never kissed me. Oh, no. I don't even know if she's kissed her grandkids. Does she kiss her grandkids? No, I think she puts her cheek and they kiss her. Yes.
So then I'm thinking, are these other parents who are only kissing their kids, only hugging their kids, think this is enough?
And you know what? That could be it, because my mom felt that as long as she was feeding us, having a roof over our head, making sure that we were well dressed and that we were clean and that we were, that she was doing that part of her parenting, she felt that was enough.
Yes. But I think she always had it in her head, you guys are going to grow up. Everything she did was for the plan of, I want you to be independent women. I want you to not rely on nobody. I want you to be hard work, or learn how to fend for yourself. Yeah. Are these people kind of thinking, well, I'm going to love you, hug you, kiss you until you're 55, and that's fine.
And you take it at your pace, is I think what they see. You take it at your pace. Whenever you want to leave, I'll be ready for you to leave.
Because I think with my kids, and I'm not a loving person, but I do try, the I love you every day, God bless you, and maybe a hug. I'm still working on that.
My daughter really wants to hug.
Yes. But I don't, but then they also know at 18 you're out. Like, you need to go to school or you need to do something, because I'm not going to take care of you your whole life. You're also, you have to be strict enough to where they know how to be independent in some sorts. My son, that's another topic. But also show you some love to know that you could come back to me if something is wrong.
Yes, but I think also part of it is that has been maybe instilled in us, but that is part of our parenting, is to make sure that we raise children or to be adults that can be independent, that can provide for themselves, that can function.
That can function.
What if that wasn't a need? What if some people don't feel that's a need? And so then it will never get changed. It will never change, because it is okay.
That's where my mind does not comprehend it. I cannot comprehend. And I know someone that's 43, 44, and is kind of like, my mom is still needs to take care of me. Yes. If I'm not married, it's my parents' responsibility. And I could not imagine my son or my daughter saying that.
Or still saying, you know what? And this person that you're thinking of, that would fall right into that category. Yeah. That would be, I can't afford this. Yeah. So give me money.
Exactly.
Imagine that. I can't imagine that right now.
Well, my son right now, he's 11 and he bought his own skateboard. Like, no, you have to sell something that's yours to get this money. Something that
it's responsibility.
It's a pleasure. It's not a have to.
But to us, that's a way of teaching them responsibility.
Yes.
What if there's people who feel that they should never be responsible for that? So my daughter is also that way. Mm-hmm. She has to save up money to buy certain things. There are certain things that she has to be responsible for. So now she loves to shop. Mm-hmm. If she gets money and for her birthday or whatever, and she saves her money, she can go and buy clothes if she wants to. My husband feels really guilty letting her buy clothes.
Yeah, and I mean,
because he feels that it's something we should provide. Now she has more than enough clothes. Yes,
we're saying
so
that
this is now something that she wants, an extra. He still feels it's not okay. Oh. She should never buy clothes, and she should never buy food.
No, I think food and clothes, basic. It's your parents' responsibility.
If you want anything extra, you should buy it yourself with your money.
A burger every week, if that's
with your own money. That's with your own money. Yes. Yes. Yeah, and he doesn't feel that. So maybe it is just part of how we're raised. I
can see how he doesn't
how he would think that. Yes. Yeah. And maybe it's because this other person, let's go back to the other person that's 40-something and asking for money to buy something. Yeah. I feel she was raised to always need her mom.
Yes.
Because her mom needed that.
That's the selfish reason of having kids.
Yes. I feel that my mom raised us
to give her.
Yes.
We were an investment.
She raised us, She raised us to believe that she would need us one day and that we needed to help her.
Which was smart. Because you're being selfish anyway. So let me invest in you with them. So you can make
to see who's gonna take care of me,
and then take care of me. That's
to see who's
smart.
Gonna take care of me. Which I also cannot see that. I cannot see my son even now at 25 saying, Mom, calling you and saying, Mom, I really want this phone. Like, can you pitch in?
Oh,
no. I can't even imagine that. Now, if he truly needed something, I hope that he could ask me.
Yeah.
I don't even know that if he would, but I hope that he could. I've told him once he's done with grad school, he can come home and live here at home for a year.
Yeah.
While he kind of gets his life together. Like, you're fresh out of school. Let me try to find a job, all that. And even that, he's like, Mom, that would be ridiculous.
And it's good.
And that's very good. For me, that's very good. Yeah. But now the same way that I can't picture him asking me for something, I cannot imagine in any way at some point in his life him taking care of me or me asking him to take care of me. No.
I wouldn't. But there's a lot of parents. I'm not going to say that, wow, one day I'm old and sick or whatever, and my son, out of the love for me,
I hope that he does it.
Suggests it.
But I can never ask.
But I can't. No. I can't imagine being like, you know what, I'm actually making you a good person and paying for your university or whatever, because at the end of the day, you're going to support me.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm going to invest in you.
And my mom has money. She has more money than me.
Yeah, she has to put away somewhere. And she's still, to her, this is just her expectation.
Exactly. Yeah. And it still is.
And I think in that way, I think it's also a good thing to say that I do feel that at one point my mom did stop changing.
Oh yeah.
She stopped changing. She stopped growing. And I think
it's visible.
Oh yeah. And I feel part of it was her bitterness.
Yes.
But I do think that I would love to see her change. I would love to see her change. I think she's a great example of someone that needs that change in her life. I think she was that caterpillar and is now in her cocoon stage,
and stayed there,
which she has been in for years. Stayed. Yeah, and I would love to see her fly out as a butterfly and just be happy. And so I think that's another thing too. If you don't constantly allow yourself to change, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get stuck in that cocoon.
Yes. And being changed also requires you knowing that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
You are teachable at everything.
That you're never done.
You're never done.
I think that's the perfect way of putting it.
Yeah.
If you're not changing, then are you saying you're done? You know everything there is to know.
And you're staying the same.
And you're going to stay the same. That's it forever.
Yeah.
And again, there's tons of you out there. So I know that some people are thinking that it is okay to be done.
And is it fear? Is it just fear, or is it
or do you truly believe that you're good?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you just not want to deal with it, or do you truly believe that I'm good? I'm good. This is my life, and I'm perfectly okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's another hard thing to believe.
Yeah. Well,
but maybe it's just us because we think everything's hard to believe.
Which I was hearing something with that, in the podcast that I listened to, Unravel, that it's when you think good is all there is, and you never imagine greatness. Mm-hmm. Greatness requires change. Good requires your comfort zone. And I think that's the thing. I think that's also a great way of putting it. If you feel like I'm good, you're good. Then always remember that there's great. Yes. And there is great.
That good is good, but that there's always great out there.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and end it now. Yeah. We'll end it with a quote. It's funny how day by day, nothing changes. But when you look back, everything is different. We want to remind you to follow us on Instagram at Sisters with a Y. And also to please, not only comment, let us know what you're thinking, but rate us. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please rate us. Please leave a review. We would love to hear it, but or go on our Instagram bio and you'll find the link. Go ahead and go on the link and comment or rate us on there.
And let us know what you want to hear. I mean, right now we're starting. We're going with a lot of different subjects. But if there's something that you want to listen to, if you want to let us know that you think differently,
yes. Or if there's something you're wondering about us, then, ask us, let us know. Question you soon.